In this video, we're going to walk through the process of installing new tires and tubes on a new set of wheels. This wheel set from Bicycle Wheel Warehouse came with a rim tape made of cotton and self-adhesive. The rim tape is applied by lining up the hole in the rim tape with the valve stem hole in the wheel. This was easily done by using an awl. By dropping the awl into the hole provides a nice alignment to get the tape process started. It's just a matter of keeping the tape straight and keeping tension on the tape and just moving along and pressing down with your finger as you go around the circumference of the wheel. The purpose of rim tape is to protect the tube from the ends of the spoke or the spoke nipples. This wheel set is double walled, so the actual spoke nipples are recessed into the holes. Therefore, no puncture potential exists. The tape is still required to prevent the tube from expanding into the hole wells, which would cause the tube to explode. The tire has a Kevlar bead which allows it to be folded for shipping purposes. However, because of the Kevlar bead, the tire shape is floppy and is tricky to work with compared to a conventional tire with a wire bead. A wire bead maintains the round shape that you see in ordinary tires. We found that it's best to wrap the tire around the entire rim from both sides just to give it some shape and allow the initiation of the process of getting the tire bead onto the rim. The first bead is easy to install inside the rim. It's a good idea to put some air in the tube just to give it some shape, but no more. Begin by inserting the valve stem into the valve stem hole in the wheel and getting it lined up and making sure that the valve stem is straight. Then proceed by pressing the tube into the tire and working your way around the perimeter of the tire so that the tube is well recessed and ready for the second bead to be applied. It's worth to take the time here to make sure that the tube is well inserted under the tire so that when applying the bead to the tire, no pinching of the tube occurs. Just gradually move your thumb around the perimeter of the tire and make sure it's uniformly inserted. Begin working the second bead installation onto the rim by using your thumbs and working your way around. The beginning of this proceeds quite easily. As you get towards the final part of the bead installation, it gets quite difficult and a tool is required to get the remaining 10 inches or so of bead over the rim wall. We found that getting the last 10 inches or so of the tire bead onto the rim was almost impossible without this special tool. This tool is called a tire bead jack, and it makes really easy work of getting the final section of bead onto the tire. Our first attempt at this using tire levers required about 20 minutes of manipulation, resulting in sore thumbs. It just wasn't worth it. This tool is made by Koolstop, Koolstop. It's a company that manufactures brake pads for bicycles. It's the only tool of its kind I could find online. Next, inflate the tire to about 40 pounds just to check that the tire bead is well seated against the rim wall. This is now the rear tire. Notice the rear hub. Same process is applying this tire to the rear wheel using the Koolstop tool. This is the installation of the gear set on the back wheel. The gear set comes with a spacer ring, which must be first applied before the rest of the gears are installed. This gear set is an 8-speed cassette, and it comes in several sections. One is a 5-speed cluster, and the other are 3 individual gears. They need to be installed onto the hub spindle in a certain pattern, and are marked by an index. The index provides a pointer that lines up with the spline shaft on the rear hub. The final step is to insert the cassette lock ring nut. It's a splined lock ring that requires a special tool to install. The tool is called a cassette removal tool. First, finger tighten the ring. This is the cassette removal tool, which looks like a socket with spline shafts that mate with the lock ring. It is used with a torque wrench to do the final tightening of the cassette. That clicking sound in the ratchet is an indication that the torque setting has been reached and the cassette is now fully installed. Spin the gear set to make sure that it is rotating properly. The rear wheel assembly is now complete.